Broken Arrow's police chief says he and his department realize there is a silent killer in their community. For years now, the homicides they are responding to are not like what is seen in Tulsa. They are mostly family members killing their relatives and then turning the gun in many situations on themselves inside their own homes. And there are no warning signs. Now they have the first steps to a solution. We speak with him unedited and only on Fox 23. Joining me on the program is Chief Brandon Berryhill of Broken Arrow Police. Thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about a tough subject first. There was a murder-suicide, another one. It seems like you don't have a lot of homicides in your city, but when they do, they're within the family. Are you all looking at this as a police department?
Yeah, there's a lethality study if you look at for the state of Oklahoma and across the nation. This type of thing, phenomenon is actually on the rise. The larger the city, the more of these that occur. You know, unfortunately for us, the problem is a lot of these and all of ours, there's not a pre-existing call for service. There's not an exposure to the police department to have some kind of contact with the family or the victims to know that there's an issue. Recently, we've started an initiative with Grand Mental Health where we're going to have 2 mental health professionals embedded with officers out in the field, working on days and evenings to try to extend those services out. The problem is really we need the help from the public to help us. I have a family member that needs help or whatever, but in these cases, we have no pre-existing cursors to tell us there's some assistance that needs to be given. So that's very frustrating for us.
I was going to say, because we always ask, was there a domestic violence call? There's no warning sign to some of these.
No, I think if you go back and look at all these and you really take it apart, and I think you're going to find an underlying mental illness issue. The problem is until it manifests out to neighbors or somebody else, there's not a warning sign for someone to say something. And so part of what we're going to be doing in our education, we've had mental health forums in the past, is we've got a victims advocate, we've got these mental health professionals embedded with officers, is really trying to spread the word to the public that if you have a neighbor, a family member that's having a hard time, you know, please reach out to somebody, because you know, you never know if something's off. You may spot it and we may never spot it.
If you did not have these incidents, I imagine your homicide rate would be lower. Is that significantly lower? Is that right?
Yeah, you know, one is too many. And what makes this a tragedy even more sad is it's within the home. And obviously one person in the home is having an issue and it spreads and takes the lives of others. And it's very tragic and it's very frustrating for us, like it is for everybody across the state that's dealing with this.
Let's talk about another initiative you have, your self-defense classes.
Yes.
When do those start up, and what was the reasoning behind setting those up?
I don't have the specific date on, the next one's going to be August 22nd and November 7th. So we had a request for those. You know, people can take self-defense classes anywhere, but we have some people coming in and do some basic things and things that you could learn in a very short amount of time. Obviously, after a class like that, if you want to extend that training to some type of professional setting, that'd be great. A lot of it is about raising awareness, being aware of your surroundings. What can you do initially to make sure that you can get out of a situation? And it's just really just a introduction type of course.
I was going to say, are you teaching me how to fight here?
No.
Okay.
It's a self-defense. Your feet will get you out of more trouble than anything else. Okay. So we always teach that first. I
know you have some events in the community, especially National Night Out is coming up.
Yep.
How big is that? I know a lot of officers say, well, we only see you on your worst day.
Right.
I imagine National Night Out is a mental way, hey, let's see us at a good time.
Yeah, so National Night Out is a national program. It encourages neighborhoods to come together, to meet each other, because if you don't know each other, you don't know what's wrong with that person's house or that person's house. And that's going to be August 6th. And we have 6 to 7 neighborhoods that are going to get together, and we'll have officers that will go out and make contact with them. And it's really the neighborhood's chance to get together and know each other. We come by just to meet them, but really knowing your neighbors, knowing who's supposed to be there, who's not supposed to be there, what cars belong, what cars don't belong, and be comfortable with talking to each other, because a lot of neighborhood disputes can be solved by me walking across the street and say, hey, could you please do X, Y, Z? There's no need to call us, and so it makes everybody safer.
And you also have the Back to School Bash. I imagine the same mission is there as well, as at least when exposure to younger kids.
Yeah, the great thing about the Back to School Bash is it's all across Green Country. Ours is going to be in the assembly. It allows public service agencies to kind of donate their time, their services, and really get kids ready for school. They're handing out thousands of backpacks. There'll be, you know, free haircuts and all that kind of good stuff. And I think the secondary part of not just getting kids ready for school, but letting those kids let them know that someone cares about them, and that puts them in the right mind frame for school.
When is that? And I know a lot of people show up to this one.
Yeah, ours is August 10th at the Assembly in Broken Arrow.
How are you all gearing up for school? Are you all making any changes to the school year aside from the construction being done by the high school? That was a nightmare.
Yeah, I think that'll be done by the time school starts. You know, we'll always gear up when we get closer to school by doing some PSAs on, you know, be aware of school zones, speeding, things like that. And of course, our calls for service, sometimes they increase around the schools because of traffic and collisions. And we always ask people to please be careful when they go back to school, because you've had the whole summer and all of a sudden you're going to have school zones, and those are expensive tickets.
Let me ask you this. Last time you were here, you announced your retirement.
Yeah.
It's ticking down. Does it feel like it's approaching, or what are your feelings right now?
You know, the odd thing is we have several initiatives that I'm trying to finish. One of those is our real-time information center, and we have the facility. We've written a large grant to get some of the items. We have some internal budgeting that the city council was nice enough to give us, and we have selected the person to be the manager over the center. So as I moved further towards October, when my retirement date is, almost like it's a race against time to finish the things that are important to me before I walk out the door.
Is that going to be in your headquarters, or are you putting it somewhere else?
Yeah, the great thing about ours is we have an emergency operations center that's connected to dispatch, or 911 center. And so we're revamping the entire thing so it can be a real-time information center and also the emergency operations center, because cameras that can be used for one can also be used for the other. So it already has a drop floor. It's set up for the infrastructure. So for us, it's an easy build. It's just a plug and play. We just need the equipment.
Chief, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.